The Cup Adventurers present
A Menstrual Cup Horror Story, Part 2.
I forget what year this was.
I remember when it did happen. I don't remember the year, but I remember.
I just remember the car thing.
Yeah, we'll get there.
That's so traumatic.
It was upsetting.
This was when I was living, thank God, by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably 2.5 years ago at this point. And so I wanted to give it a go for like all the same reasons that we all do. It's supposed to be, better and more sustainable, better for the environment, less expensive, good for if an apocalypse happens and you have to like go on the run without supplies and you can just like keep watching the same thing. So I started with the Schoon Cup.
Oh, I've never even heard of this one.
It's supposed to be, it says Schoon, beginner's choice. Yeah.
What a lie.
And they say that it's very soft, but one of the things that I noticed when I received it is that soft doesn't mean thin. I think I tried this one for a couple of months before trying the second one. And I did all of the research ahead of time. I feel like a lot of times when people talk about their experiences, they're like, oh, well, you just don't know. Like I knew. Like I read all of the blogs. I watched all of the videos. I did it ahead of time, and then God, after the first time, I did it all again.
Yep.
But basically, I got it, and I decided, like, oh, this is because I'm an idiot, right? So I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I'll just, like, wear it to work my first day. So, like, I didn't even try the C-fold. I thought that sounded terrifying. So I just went right with the punch down, and it was like... I don't actually remember my first experience trying to put it in as I remember my first experience trying to take it out.
Yep.
I know that at some point I was like trying to get it in and got it about halfway in, and my thumb accidentally released the punch down and it just popped open and like smacked me on the clit really hard, and it was the worst. It was the worst.
Oh my god.
It was like the fucking worst.
Oh my gosh.
But like what did I say? This is what I've discovered, that I've apparently got like the width and depth of a garden hose. Like this is the problem.
Yep.
So I kind of managed to get it in. And then they're like, "Oh, to make sure that like it's sealed properly, you can either rotate it or just stick a finger up there and like run it around the outside." And rotating it doesn't work.
Have you ever been able to rotate it? Ever? That's impossible.
And running a finger around the outside does not work if it will not fucking fit. Oh, just, the whole cup, the cup's in there, and then you just, like, stick a finger up, and it's like, bitch, where? Like, not in my vagina. Like, apparently in somebody else's. So I had the problem from day one where, like, I couldn't even tell if it was properly suctioned on or not because none of the normal methods would really work. They also say, like, you can tug on it lightly and, like, pull it down and wiggle it around and all that kind of stuff. So I tried that. Went to work like a dumbo. And then I think in the middle of the day I got paranoid, right? Like you said you did.
Yep.
So went to, like, the bathroom stall. And I don't know how to describe the solid half hour of, like you said, sweating and like trying not to like make all sorts of manly noises as like your coworker is delicately peeing in the stall next to you and you're like still there. And there's pain because I can't.
Yep. You can't reach. You're pinching.
I managed to get it kind of out, and like because what happens when you pinch the base and pull is that the width of the rim is way too uncomfortably wide to be pulled out through my vagina if it's not prepared.
I was gonna say, if you're not aroused while putting your cup in, it's not gonna work, huh?
100% God no. Eventually what I would do is like the two-handed approach. You pull it down with one hand and with the other one like stick your thumb up there and do that same punch down and then manage to just pull it out. And just like...
And you wouldn't lose any of the fluid, though?
Oh, God, girl, I lost so much fluid.
Oh, I'm sure all the fluid is gone.
All the fluid.
I thought you're not supposed to have any drippage. What?
No, like, it was so... And so I managed to, like, while restraining myself from screaming because, like, my coworker was peeing next to me, and I was
God, what was she still doing in there? Get out!
I managed to yank it out, like yank it, like it wouldn't come out without a good fucking yank.
Oh, God.
And I swear to God, Rorschach splatter of blood on the bathroom stall door
Oh my god.
of my workplace.
No.
It was on the floor, it was on my hands, it was on
my
the walls. I was just like, and because like obviously if you're at home, you've got a sink and you can clean that super easily, but like
Yes.
Oh
Yep.
no.
do.
You had to use toilet paper.
Yeah, just toilet paper and like scrub it off, and then like
Did it work?
that's the thing. That's why I took it out, was because it was leaking, and like thank God I was at least smart enough to wear like liners, but it was leaking.
Oh man.
And I was like, oh, it must be full, so that's why I took it out. But it wasn't. It just wasn't working somehow.
It was just leaking.
And so I got it out, managed to like wait until nobody else was in the bathroom, like run out and get like soap and water from the sink and tissues and like come back in and just like scrub everything down and like make it all whatever. And I went home for the day. And this is where I can't even separate like the individual incidents anymore, but this is just what it always was. And it developed in a couple of different ways. And one of them was that I realized I did not know why it was leaking. Is it because it's not fully opened? I can't tell because I can't fit my finger up there. Or is it because it's not correctly placed? Because my cervix is either super high or it's at like some weird angle that this needs to be angled towards, and that's not working. So I read all the guides and like, here's how you find your cervix, and you stick your whatever, and it feels like the tip of your nose. And I didn't feel anything up my vagina that felt like the tip of my nose. So like, I don't know if I was just incapable.
Tip of your nose? Must have been written by a man.
That's that's what they say. That's absolutely what they say, because it feels like cartilage, kind of. Like it's that kind of thing. So it's like a squishy, spongy little thing that apparently you can feel. And I just couldn't feel anything that was like that. So I don't know if it's like way up high.
Maybe you don't have one.
Maybe I don't have a cervix. Maybe that's the answer to all of these issues. Maybe that's why I'm having so many problems. So yeah, that was one thing. And the other thing was it would just disappear.
Oh, what?
So I would put it in, and it would be, I could even leave it like right at the entrance.
Yeah.
And I would swear to God, I would walk around for 30 minutes and I couldn't feel its existence at all. It was like it had been sucked into the void. That's what
We all have a void inside of us.
That's what it's supposed to be, though.
But then like when I went to take it out, the tip of my middle finger could barely hit the tip of the stem.
Oh shoot!
Yeah,
So
okay.
that was it.
Yeah.
Did you just lay a towel down and hope for the best?
I would do it in the shower and push and push and push and push. And eventually, but then you would get tired and you'd be like, oh shit, and now I'm getting stressed and now it's getting whatever. And like I would finally be able to grab it and like pull it down, and pulling it out would be like, I would have to narrow down the width of it in order to get it out in anything that wasn't like excruciating.
Right, like I don't even care about the spilling at this point.
Mm.
I'm not even trying.
So it was like, you know, holding with this hand and like pushing down on the edge with those fingers and whatever, and you would get it partly down, and then like my finger would slip, and then it would like reopen to its full width, like right at the wrong point, and it was yes. Oh god, exactly.
Like you started out so good, like okay, it's nice and narrow, and then you pull it out, and then something slips, and it opens right away. Right? Oh my god! And you're like, no, this is not what I wanted. This is exactly what I was trying to prevent.
And the other thing was nails. And surprisingly enough, when I had, like, sometimes I would get gel manicures, and that actually made it a lot better because it meant the nails were thicker and more rounded at the end.
Yeah, and smoother.
But when you have, like, my natural nails are quite long, you would try to grab and pinch the cup, and that would not be all that you grabbed and pinched with the end of your, like, thin, sharp fingernails. And God, like literally the first and only thought that went through my head is like, oh, like this is why like women living women like cut their finger. Like, okay, right, okay,
Yep.
right. So that was like the first 2 months. So I looked up some of my issues, and it seemed like one of them was maybe my cervix was really high, so I needed a longer one, and I definitely needed one that was softer and thinner. So I found the Lily Cup. I'm linking you guys to that one. It's the width of its actual walls, I would say, is about like half as much as the first one that I was using. And this one was better. It was absolutely better. It was, you can roll it up much thinner. Which made the entire experience better in a lot of ways. But it was still painful to get in, leaking when it was in. And everyone's like, oh, there's a learning curve. I know there's a learning curve, but this was like 4 or 5 months.
I am sorry. My God.
So we can talk about the car story, but before that, are there any questions from the Peanut Gallery?
What are you using now?
I'm just doing tampons. Tampons regularly, and then like pads at night because but yeah, so I've gone back because it's just so much easier. And I feel like the car story is the day that I realized like, no, this is not working. So I was at this little local event at a restaurant that was owned by some people that I knew, and like it was just there. It was like part fundraiser, part sort of local concert, part, a lot of things like that. And
Are there other humans involved in this story?
no, thank goodness. But the fact that I was out at this public place was the reason that I couldn't, like, it just kind of started aching. And I left early because I was like, I need to go. Like, I need to go. I need to go home. I need to go right now and take this out. Like, there was a public bathroom there, but I was not going to go through that whole thing again.
No Rorschach?
No Rorschach. I was like, I refuse. Not in this nice, like, boho, hippie, little, like, family-run restaurant. Like, I'm not doing that to this lovely little space. And so I left, said bye to everyone, and I started driving. And the aching was just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I was like, I need to get this out, like, right now. Like, I just left the place with the public toilet. I'm only 20 minutes from home, but God, it's going to be hell of a 20 minutes. And, like, I have to drive this car. And I was living in this really rural kind of place, and I was one of the only foreigners living there. So, like, if anyone saw me pulled over to the side, like, they might, if they passed, they might, like, come up to see what was wrong, or I felt like I couldn't, and I feel like that would make the car really easy to see into as well, like if it was stationary and on the side of the road. So I was like, okay.
I love your mental gymnastics on this.
So I just, I'm used to driving with one hand. I do it all the time. And I just kind of like, thank God, I think I was wearing a dress that day. So I just like...
because pants would have been very difficult.
So I just like braced my left foot, like kept my right foot on the gas, and braced my left foot like just at like the footwell of the car, so I could like...
The dead pedal?
Yeah, like just to give myself like some...
Yeah.
Like, leverage. Yeah. And I just kept driving with my left hand, and I fucking stuck my right hand up there.
Who knew all you needed was a car and some desperation to get that thing out?
It would get right out. And, like, the position actually wasn't that bad. And I even, like, was able to keep my seatbelt on, even though I was in a really weird position. And I did pass a couple cars on the road at the time. But, like, thank God these were quiet country roads. There was almost nobody around. It was decently safe.
Good.
Like, even if I'd driven off the road, I would have just driven into, like, a rice field.
Farmland or something. You know.
How did you do it with one hand?
Again, all you needed was a car.
All I needed was a car and distinct feelings of panic. And
desperation.
Desperation. It was in the kind of position where I could do that like bear down and push.
Right,
Thing.
you had your feet in the right
I had
spots
my feet
and
in the right
everything.
spot, and I just like at this point I was pretty practiced. Like I just like punched it down and pulled it out and kind of just and, like,
Where did you-
screamed and like just pulled it out as I was driving. And
Oh my God.
I had like wet wipes in the car because I'm a responsible fucking adult. Shoved some tissues up there. I mean, not up there, but like, you know, down there.
Yeah, as a pad.
And and I got home and I was like, fuck this shit.
Oh my god.
It's not for me. I'm done.
Yeah, I just realized it was not worth it and that I was done.
Thank you for sharing. It sounds horrible.
Thank you for sharing. I hope your story helps someone else feel no guilt over their giving up of the moon cup.